Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda Civic 1.4 ST. The T, by the way, designates that it's got the sat-nav fitted as standard. Lovely car, this one. It's just come in as a part exchange to us. The chap just bought another Honda Civic from us. This car has covered just 30,000 miles. I think it's 30,400 from memory. Finished in this lovely passion red metallic, which never looks as good on videos or in pictures as it does in the flesh. It's a really rich colour. The car, as you'd expect, is in very, very nice condition, despite the fact that it's 10 years old now. I apologise, it's a bit windy, so I'm hoping you can hear me okay today. Front of the car, lights and lenses clear and intact. There's no cracks, no condensation there. Bonnet, very, very clean indeed. Any stone chips are minuscule. Near side of the car, lovely and smooth in the panel work. No obvious indentations. I might show that away. Near side front alloy, generally very good indeed. Panels, very, very nice. Near side rear alloy, lovely condition. Probably get a better look, feel for the colour when you come around at the angles like this, because it's just such a rich one. Parking sensors fitted because it wasn't standard on the car, all checked, all working. Off side of the car, driver's side, again, beautifully smooth in the panel work there. It really is very, very clean indeed. Off side of the rear alloy, again, really nice condition. We've not even washed this car, by the way. It's literally as it's come, just sort of wiped over, but it's not been polished, and it's just got such a lovely natural gleam to it. And then offside front alloy, really nice. The only mark I can see, a tiny bit of touching just on the front edge of the bumper there. But that's it. I mean, that's the sum total. It's in glorious condition. Come to the boot area, absolutely cavernous boot and in beautiful condition. Let's come into the back now. It's wide opening rear doors and loads of rear room. Front seats are set for me, and I'm 6 foot tall, so that is the minimum legroom you're going to get, and there's loads. Camera, by the way, makes the centre of the seats look a bit purpley pinky. They're not, they are black. I don't know what is wrong with my camera. Never been able to work it out, but it's been kept in beautiful condition back here. The front and the passenger side, again, all very, very clean and tidy. Full set of original Honda mats in the car. Passenger seat there, again, in super condition. Finally coming in on the driver's side, door card again, beautiful condition. Some of the footwell areas, the driver's seat itself, again, it just looks pretty much like new. It's incredibly clean. So inside the car now, engine's running as they always do, so the dash is illuminated. Dashboard again in super condition. Sat nav, you can see, working exactly as it should. It's been kept absolutely beautifully. And then come to the main dash binnacle. That's the view you get as a driver, which I always say I think is just the best dash design anywhere. Not just because it looks fantastic in my eyes, but it just works absolutely brilliantly. Engine running, no warning lights on the car at all. Just panning there for you. 30,433 miles. Video just doesn't do justice, really. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Civic 1.4 ST. Car is registered RV14RLX, and mileage is just 30,428. The reason for these videos, and as I always say, especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone is online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. We feel it's important simply because, like lots of people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or descriptions given, but then to get there and find out after hours on the road that it's got an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car, which can be hugely frustrating. We also do it on these very quiet country roads in this beautiful part of Gloucestershire. Even on a rainy day like today, it's lovely. This actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is it'd be representative of what you'd feel yourself if you test drove the car. So coming to the car, as you'll know from the walk around section, it's coming as a part exchange to us and has been beautifully maintained over its very low mileage. It'll come as absolutely absolutely no surprise to know that it drives absolutely beautifully. Twist the key, engine starts instantly, settles to smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car for that matter, and temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car. For fear of repeating myself many thousands of times, Honda build the best four-cylinder engines in the world. There's no doubt about it, and it's for a multitude of reasons. The obvious one, or ones that people know about, is their reliability. They are brilliantly engineered. That's what I did not want to see pull out in front of me on these quiet country roads I've just been going on about. No, but the engine, I mean, it's just, the reliability is astonishing. They are cam chain driven. There's no cam belts to worry about on them. But with just good regular maintenance, they'll last enormous mileages. But also that they're just a lovely engine to use. They're flexible, they're sweet, they're quiet, they're refined. But when you do put your foot down, you're greeted with that classic Honda four-cylinder induction noise. Just it's sort of throaty but nice. It never sounds sort of harsh particularly or strained, and allows access to the full rev band of the car. And it's a shame that the chap's in front, because normally just put a foot down, but basically you put your foot down, you get that lovely little snarl from the engine, but it's just muted. It's beautifully done. It's a fantastic unit, it really is. Engine then feeds through into the clutch and gearbox in the car. Clutch on the car, as you'd expect with such a low mileage, to be good, and it is absolutely perfect. There's no it sort of squeaks, it bites perfectly. It's lovely and smooth. That's a very brave place to stop. Oh my goodness me, don't want to look. And then onto the gearbox, 6-speed manual gearbox, something that Honda do brilliantly well. They're really careful, they're passionate about making all of their controls have a substantial tactile feel, and the main controls are things like your pedals, your steering, your gear lever. The gear lever, like most front-wheel drive cars now, is actually joined to the gearbox underneath by cables, which has lots of benefits, but also, unfortunately, some manufacturers seem to end up giving you a gear lever that feels like it's not connected to anything, that can be light, vague, lifeless, horrible things. This feels, even though it isn't, it feels like it's just going directly into the gearbox. It's so positive, so mechanical, almost a little bit weighty in its feel, but so defined and good to use, and you just know you're using something that's properly engineered. And of course it feels absolutely as it would have done when it was new. There's just zero wear in it whatsoever. Coming onto the steering and chassis, and I do apologise if I could have picked a worse day to do this stuck behind a lorry. I like to talk about it as I'm driving along, but you have to make do, trust me. Steering and chassis of the car has always been one of my favourite parts of these particular cars, because it's a really nice dynamic drive, but very, very comfortable at the same time, and that's a really hard thing to achieve. Steering of the car really nicely weighted, and again, a bit like the gear lever, the modern fad now, for good reason, is to have electric power steering, which is great, but unfortunately that means that lots of cars again feel as though you're driving a PlayStation car. It feels very artificial. This has weight to it, but when you turn into a corner, it turns in with absolute precision and quickly as well. Really nicely set up. It also, by the way, tracks absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. The suspension itself gives a really nice ride. It's very comfortable. It's beautifully damped. It doesn't transmit a lot of thud into the car. In fact, there's no clonks, no rattles from the suspension at all. It's in really good order. But what the suspension also allows for, because you either buy the Civic for purely family use, and you don't really care about its dynamic abilities, it just needs to be comfortable, and it does that fantastically well. But for those that still like their driving, it does reward. You go through corners, it goes through the figure. Corners are quite flat,
but loves to change direction, and it just flows with a kind of unflappable nature to its chassis. It's a really enjoyable car to drive. Brakes on the car are excellent. I'm not going to go mad because I've got a chap behind me, but if I touch the brake pedal, they bite beautifully. There's no pulsing or vibrations coming back through the brake pedal, so all in very, very good order indeed. And then coming inside the car, it's literally just arrived to us. As you know, it comes as a part exchange to us. The video is slightly weird in the sense that the road test video is actually done before the walk-around video, yet the edit shows them the other way around. It's just the way it works. But it's not been cleaned in here at this stage. It doesn't really need it. It's so clean in here, and it looks like it is like such a ridiculously low mileage car. The build quality is absolutely sensational on the Civics. They really are beautifully put together cars. No squeaks, no rattles at all. Made out of some really nice materials as well, nice sort of soft touch predominantly, especially the upper part of the dashboard. But for me, it's just the layout of the dashboard. I absolutely adore it, and I've always said, I readily admit, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I just think it, age of cars where they all seem to look the same, it's just a breath of fresh air. But it works. That's the whole point of it as well. As always, the most conventional part is the centre stack here. Sat nav fitted to this particular model of car, working perfectly. Air conditioning system below that, again, pumps out absolutely ice cold air. And as I mentioned before, every switch you press, touch or otherwise, has a lovely high quality feel to it. But my favourite part, as always, is this two-tier design in front, because it's genius. The upper deck is the stuff you look at most. You've got an information pod there. You've got your speedo directly in front of me, white on black, all by itself. Basically means I can look at cars coming the other way, pedestrians, cyclists, horses, whatever happens to be, but keep my eyes on my speed without taking my eyes off the road at all. It is simply genius. Down below that, pod of 3 dials, rev counter in the middle, flanked by temperature and fuel gauges. But it's just so pleasing on the eye, especially at night when it's all illuminated. It looks fantastic. As I suggested earlier on, just can't fault the car in any way. It drives absolutely beautifully.